taught to have an approach when they come to the plate, have a plan, right? Early in the count, when they're in the head of the count, they're going to hunt. They're going to hunt for fastballs usually. I mean, that's usually the approach, unless a guy's just somebody that has a scouting report that's been, knows a guy starts them with first pitch sliders or first pitch curveballs, then they might be hunting those, right? And generally they're going to look for that pitch either in or away. And so ambush kind of came about more about for our game, and very similarly to how it's used in real life. If a guy's throwing 100 plus miles an hour, even 92, actually 93, if they can locate, which generally most big league pitchers can, that plan is going to be for them to like split that plate in half. I'm going to look in or I'm going to look away. And generally that's going to come from years of experience of facing those guys, having really solid scouting reports, similar to what you guys are going to have now this year in MLB The Show. And we'll get to that a little bit later on in this stream. But you got to cheat a little bit, right? So if I'm going to catch up to a 95 mile an hour fastball in, if I'm looking for that, if I'm hunting that fastball in, my hips are going to open up a little bit. I'm going to cheat. And we never really had that in our game. The idea of opening up early on an inside pitch, I got to get that bat head out in front, right? So it's very similar to real life in the physical aspect of cheating and opening that hip and getting your hands out. In the game, we're going to give you a little bit of a boost. That's why the PCI gets bigger, like you already saw, right? The PCI is going to get bigger on the half that you choose, and on the half you don't choose, it gets smaller. And so how that translates to real life is opening up those hips a little early if I'm going to pull a ball, or getting the weight more on the balls of my feet if I'm going to drive the ball the other way, if I'm looking for it on the outer half of the plate. So the idea really stems from real life. It's that same approach that they have in real life. And in our game, it gives you that little advantage of the same advantage you get in real life, that cheating advantage of opening those hips, right? So we're going to give you a little bit of a boost on your timing, and we're going to make your bat bigger. Essentially, that PCI is going to get a little bigger. And then when you guess wrong, and so here's a really good point too. So things that you see when you're watching a big league game on TV, if you guys, a lot of you know this because you're all baseball people, but if you're watching a big league game, you can almost tell what a hitter is looking for based on his reaction. So let's just say a guy's up there 0-0 count and he's looking for a fastball in, and you're going to see him open his hips a little bit and start to cheat. If that fastball's thrown on the outer half of the plate for a strike, that pitch to him is going to look like it's probably 3 to 6 inches off the plate because he's looking in. And the same on the opposite side. If I'm looking for a fastball away and that guy busts me in on a fastball in the black, that pitch is going to look like it's 3 to 6 inches in.
Yeah,
okay?
Totally.
Yeah, so you're going to see guys kind of jump back as if the ball's going to hit them because their approach is looking the other way. So essentially it's the same thing in our game. So I know that people have kind of the way that we have our presets for our PCI, and you can sit in certain locations. It kind of starts there. You can do that if you're going to ambush. Personally, I like to use it when I'm ahead in the count.
Yeah.
For me, it's a strategic thing. So I use it very similar to the way I hit in real life and the way I think a lot of major league hitters hit in real life.
So it sounds like, Gil, ambush hitting is completely optional, pitch by pitch by pitch.
It is, and you'll see a little OSD below the strike zone that tells you can select the left side of the plate or the right side of the plate. You can go in the options for the clean screeners out there. You guys could turn that off because once you get the hang of it, you really don't need that up there anymore. And then you can actually, at the very last, you can do it all the way up to the pitch release. So you can go back and forth, and right before he releases the ball, you can be set on which side of the plate you want to be on. And if you, at the last second, don't want it, you can cancel it.
Yeah, so this is just something that you guys are going to be able to use. You're going to have that approach just like MLB players have, kind of what Gil's saying here. And you can kind of pick your spots with it. Like you said, when you're ahead in the count, like I have a 3-1 count, and I think that fastball is coming up and in, I'm going to ambush it, and I'm going to try to make him pay. So it's going to be completely optional. Pick your spots. But it's just another way to kind of have that MLB approach while playing our game.
It is. Well, sorry. The one thing I wanted to say too, I'm going to let Connor talk because I just interrupted. I'm sorry, Connor.
I don't mind.
I tend to do that, but I do want to bring this up before I forget. You can go to go on YouTube and just look up a very specific one. You got, I think it was Harold Reynolds was interviewing Freddie Freeman on his grand slam that he hit in the World Series. And he talks about hunting the pitch that he hit out. He was talking about getting, I think he was looking at the scouting report from Ohtani, and he was looking at how the lefty was throwing Ohtani so that he could have a plan when he stepped up to the plate. And he was getting cutters and sliders away. So he said, I didn't want to chase. I wanted to look for something in, and he hoped that he would throw him something middle in. Well, sure enough, he got that pitch, right? So that's exactly what ambush hitting is. And that's exactly what Freddie Freeman did at that time at the plate. And they all do it, right? Yeah, I talked to big leaguers that come in here, and I love this. Throughout development for the last 8 or 9 months, we've had different big leaguers come in here. Colin's had guys come in here. He comes and introduces them to us. And all the position players that come in, every single one of them, I talk to them about this new mechanic in the game. And half of those guys love playing our game. So they know how it translates from real life into our game. And so they're super excited about the feature.
Yeah, and it's just going to be that layer, an extra layer of hitting and pitching, right? That song and dance you have with the guy throwing the ball.
Totally.
And
Connor, why don't you talk about the pitching side of it too?
totally.
Because this isn't just for hitters.
Yeah, I think before we dive into the pitching side, Colin, if you don't mind, can you pull up the
They can pay. It might just be a little harder to time it up if you are picking the wrong side of the plate, right?
Just slightly on the timing side of things. It's
Yeah.
just really more of just the bat getting a little bit smaller. So yeah, there is a penalty on the opposite side for sure.
Yeah, I'm seeing tons of W's in the chat. We're so excited to get you guys this feature in 25. I think it's really going to change the way you play as a hitter and as a pitcher, like Connor mentioned. So,
And
really-
to just
really good
address
stuff.
a question real quick that I have been seeing in chat, this is not the same as guest pitch, right, Gil Connor? The pitcher has no idea which side of the plate I'm ambushing.
Yeah, we should correct that for sure. Make sure people totally understand it. It's nothing. It's similar in terms of like you're looking for a location. But one of the things, and I'll go back to what I said about choosing one half of the plate, you're not going to know whether the guy's throwing in that zone. The guest pitch feature actually will highlight, if you guess correctly, it'll highlight. You could do both. You could guess the location, you can guess the pitch type, and you get different feedback, but it's always going to tell you before it gets to the plate. And that's the arcadey style of it, right? So this is actually a real sim. This is you just essentially getting a little boost for things that you were kind of already doing before, maybe looking in or looking away, but you're getting that cheat.
Yeah, and remember, this is completely optional. It's by pitch. Like if you like it one pitch, you can use it. You don't have to use it. You can always cancel out by clicking R3.
Yeah.
So tons of flexibility for hitters. You can use this to your advantage, or you can just continue to hit the way you like to hit before.
Yeah, and the other thing that's cool is like I talk to people around the studio, guys that have been playing this for the last couple of months since it's been finished, and everybody has like a totally different like kind of approach to the way that they do it. The guy that's sitting next to me here that's actually playing the game, Dre's
Shout out Dre.
Shout out Dre. Dre, well, what's your approach? What do you like to do?
I like to sit on the handedness of the pitcher. So, for instance, if I have a right-handed batter and it's a right-handed pitcher, I'm probably going to ambush to the inside of the zone. But if it's a right-handed batter and it's a lefty, then I'm going to set that ambush to the outer side of the zone, just because that's where I like to set my PCI at when the ball's coming in. So it's just easier for me to keep it on that side. So if he wants to pick that side and I'm already on that side, should be good money.
Yeah, there you go. And I think he also told me the same thing kind of I do is I don't really use it with 2 strikes or when I'm behind in the count. I always use it when I'm ahead in the count. Every once in a while I will. Every once in a while. I'm telling you, Ashley.
Gotta throw them off their rhythm. I mean, you can tell me, Gil. I'm not taking notes over here.
Yeah, we can't give out our full plans.
I think another thing to note is you can still use PCI Anchor with this addition as well,
Yes.
which is very cool. And in terms of PCI Anchor, we've added a few just quality of life things. Dre, if you don't mind.
Updates for you all, and we're gonna start with ambush hitting. What is it?
Ambush hitting. Everybody's wondering. Well, all of you that know baseball lingo, ambushing a fastball would be like teeing off on a first pitch fastball, inside or outside. You're looking away or you're looking in and you just smoke it. Perfect, right? It's an extension of our zone hitting mechanic. So yeah, super excited to have this new feature in the game.
So then you bring it from the baseball perspective. How do our fans then do it within MLB The Show? How can they predict the pitches?
Yeah, so that's super cool, and I'm so excited about this. Obviously, we're all baseball people here, and having experience playing in real life, understanding what it's like to face a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, let alone 105-mile-an-hour nowadays, these guys in the big leagues, you got to have a plan when you come to the plate. These guys can't walk up to the plate, look for a fastball in, and look for a fastball away. You just can't do it. So especially when you're ahead in the count, ambush hitting gives you the ability to kind of attack and have your own little scouting report and plan based on how that pitcher's attacking you that day. So if I look for a fastball in, I move the right stick to the left if I'm a right-handed hitter, and I can jump on that inside fastball. And what it does is it gives you a little bit of an edge. It gives you like basically a bigger bat and a little better timing window, right? But if I guess wrong, it's going to shrink that PCI. So on the opposite side, probably shrinks it about 2 difficulties higher, and your timing slightly worse. But it doesn't mean you can't hit a mistake when you guess the wrong side. So just like in real life, Ashley, like if I'm looking away for a fastball and somebody hangs me a curveball, I can still move my PCI. It lights my eyes up and he hangs it. I can still hit a perfect. So it doesn't take anything away from you other than the size of your bat.
No, that's perfect, Gil. It's great to see that prediction within the game. I mean, I know I've hung some curveballs for you. I can only imagine if you had ambush hitting at that time, what that could have resulted in.
Yeah, you got payback coming to me. I know.
Oh, I got you. But the cool thing is, too, is like I know for me, I use a PCI when I'm playing, and so I'm always leaning a little bit inside or leaning a little bit outside, but now I have that extra motivator with ambush hitting. That's going to reward me when I guess inside correctly. A pitch comes inside, boom, I demolish it. Or if a pitch is outside but I'm guessing inside, I still have time to make up that window.
I was just going to say, on the pitching side of things, I think it's a game changer as well. You're not going to see in online play what your opponents, which way they're ambushing. So it's constantly going to be a cat and mouse game and a guess of, are they sitting inside on a sinker or what are they doing? And I think that's one of the coolest things is it's going to impact everything.
And it's also an option that you can either opt in or not, right? And so essentially, like you were saying, you're already sitting with your PCI in if you're looking in, right? You're already sitting with your PCI out, or you're locking it in a position based on how you like to move the PCI or what feels most comfortable for you. So you can either opt in or not. And for me, playing this game, I like using it ahead in the count, right? So as long as I'm not behind in the count, then I'm using my ambush hitting. And, you know, if I'm looking inside and he throws it away, I just let it go. If I'm looking away, he throws it inside, I just let it go. I get to 2 strikes. I don't use it anymore. And now I'm just battling up there.
Yeah, so I'm hearing, you know, you get to pick a side on the plate. You get to zero in. This is all optional. Remember that as a hitter. And that PCI is going to scale to your benefit, or it could actually hurt you if you pick the wrong side. And I can't wait to go through this in the live portion and we can kind of talk more about it. But it's definitely a huge... We have a whole new look at new infield reactions. And I'm talking jumps at ground balls. Chris Gill, talk me through some of this.
Yeah, so we've had start transition animations for our outfielders for a few years now. One of the things that was that addition that we put in, it really opened up the offense. Yeah. So guys that were running down fly balls because of their perfect jumps all the time got a little frustrating. So we added in a scaling system based on how good. Yeah, Dre just made a play right there, and he was just surprised by that diamond fielder, and he dove over the ball, but you could see the difference. That's almost the exact same hit. He didn't need to dive on the first one. He could have got that standing up. He just kind of spazzed out on the buttons there for a second.
Dre just likes the theatrics.
Yeah.
You know?
He's getting a little sweaty because he knows we're on camera and he's trying to be perfect here. So, but what you can tell is when you see these balls hit, like honestly, when you see a blue start transition and the guy doesn't get to the ball, you can pretty much guess that nobody's going to get to that ball. And if you see a yellow and he gets close to it, you can pretty much guess that a green or a blue would have got to that ball.
Uh-oh, perfect.
Oh, Colin's alarm went on.
That was a good effort.
So attribute exposure, y'all see it right there. Everything is mattering when you're playing defense, different attributes affecting different motions of the defensive play. But I've been seeing a lot of it in chat. 2 things, and it's the sweeper and it's the GOAT difficulty. Connor, is the sweeper pitch new this year?
Yes, it is new to this year's game. A lot of players have it. Skeens has a really good one. I believe Otani has one as well. But it's a new pitch, definitely something to look out for.
And it's not replacing the slider. Don't worry. It's a new pitch. You're going to see it added to, what was it, like 160 players in the roster?
It's added to
Yeah,
essentially whoever has it.
Yeah, anyone that has it will have it in the game, which is really exciting. But it's a whole new look. People are using it more and more in real life, so it makes sense to excuse me, it makes more sense to add it to the game, right?
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of high risk, high reward, I mean, GOAT difficulty, Ashley, you brought that up. I mean, essentially it's just a new difficulty level, right? And it's not for everybody, of course. No. I mean, GOAT difficulty is for the best of the best, for sure. But we threw that out there just in terms of wanting to challenge people that are exceptional at the game. And honestly, it's just another milestone to try to reach, right? Like, we got Legend. I'm watching guys on streams who are psycho players that are literally scoring 14 runs on Legend, which I have no idea how they do this. Putting those guys on GOAT, let's see how they perform. All right. So why don't you throw a little bit of tidbits out there about how we're going to use GOAT?
Yeah, absolutely. So GOAT, once again, it's not going to be in everything, but you will have the opportunity to see GOAT difficulty, play through GOAT difficulty. If you reach 1,000+ rating in ranked, you will no longer be on Legend still. You will be on GOAT. I know y'all have seen some weekend classic teasers. Yes, you will also be on GOAT difficulty in the highest reward division. And then lastly, yes, it will be included in esports. More details for when you might see it later on. And then GOAT difficulty will be an option in most single player modes, just like Rookie, Veteran, All-Star, Hall of Fame, Legend. You have the opportunity to choose it. But in terms of online play, you're going to see it in the very rare 1,000+ ranked rating, the highest division weekend classic. So don't worry. If it takes you a little while to get to GOAT, odds are you're not going to see it for a little bit, so it's going to be okay. I'm just subtweeting myself. I will not be seeing GOAT difficulty with 1,000+ rating.
I was going to say, this is for the best of the best. The pitches are going to come in fast. The breaks are going to be even more. We're excited to get it in for that tier of player.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I mean, guys like me, we're not going to be touching GOAT.
Drago,
Yeah,
I mean, he kills it at the sticks.
I can't hit successfully on it, but from a gameplay standpoint, what you're going to really see is smaller PCI, bigger breaks, and on the pitching side of things, for hitting as well, smaller PCI, decreased timing window, so it's going to be much more challenging to square something up. And then also on the pitching side of things, your par is going to grow as well, so it's going to be a little bit harder to locate your pitches. And on top of that, the criteria for pinpoint is slightly more challenging as well.
What is
to
par,
get it perfect.
Connor? Like, a lot of people here probably don't even know what par is.
Par is your perfect accuracy region. If you get a perfect pitch with pinpoint, meter or pure analog, you're going to the pitch will land on or within that region.
So it's a little display that comes up on the screen, right?
And it guarantees you'll be in that
Correct.
section of the plate. Yeah.
Correct.
That's GOAT. So, yeah, we're excited for you guys to get your hands on it. The people that, are top-tier players will get to have a little bit more of a challenge. We talked a little bit about this in the pre-record. There's the new home run rob meter, which is something that I know a lot of people should be excited for.
Home run rob meter.
Are we cooking with gas?
Are we cooking?
Yeah, he's been doing the Rob home run meter. I haven't been paying attention to anything you guys are talking about. I'm over here trying to get Drake straightened out with this, getting these hits in here.
There we go. Oh.
Yeah, this is the beauty of doing things live.
Let's go.
You know?
So, yeah, you can see the new home rod meter.
We got it. This is so just so everybody knows, this is a different setup in this room here where they do all the videoing and for these streams that we're doing. So we're not used to how they have things set up. So we're kind of struggling with these widgets. It's not set up the way that we have it, but we're set now.
Yeah,
we got some Rob home runs. I think we described. Is there anything more in Rob home runs you guys want to talk about? I think we're good.
We stopped talking about it while you guys were.
Yeah, look at that. He's hanging on the fence.
He's just showing it here is perfect.
Yeah, he's killing it. I love it. But there's some questions that we had to answer too. Is that from the community? Were we going to talk about some of the? I saw a couple fielding ones. There was one that stuck out to me, Ashley, and someone was asking why. Can we go to the questions? Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right. I didn't want to get off track.
It's
I don't want
live.
to get yelled at when this thing's over. But I did want to hit on a couple of these questions. So one of them, some guy asked, why does my infielder keep running after he catches the ball sometimes before he throws it? And so it's hard for me to know exactly what he's saying, but I think I know what he means. And so going back the years, there's a lot of people probably listening today that haven't played our game for years, but most of you guys are probably veterans at playing the game, and you understand how important preloading your throw is. And preloading means that you have to throw the ball before you catch it. You don't have to, but if you throw the ball before the attach frame, so when the ball attaches to the glove on any single catch, you're going to get the absolute very best throw you possibly can get based on that player's fielding ability. Okay, so what that means is if I have, let's say, a bronze guy at shortstop, I'll give you an example, and I go in the hole and I wait for him to catch the ball and then I throw. the way we do our animations is he's going to run out of the catch. So he's going to take a couple extra steps if you don't throw at all, and then he's going to stop. Okay. And then what we do is we have branch points within each one of those moves. So each foot that goes down, we have another branch point. So right at the catch, left foot down or right foot down, then left foot down or right foot down, and they can throw on either one. So if you miss the branch point, you're going to hit the very next one. And then at the very end, if you don't do anything at all, you throw from the standing pose, whatever pose he's in at the end. So that's the different layers. And that's kind of how we built our tiered system. So our tiered system works this way. Even if I preload and I got a common guy playing shortstop, he's probably he's going to miss that first branch point the majority of the time. He's going to hit the next foot down or the second foot down. And that's what I think this kid was asking. I shouldn't say kid. It could be a man, it could be a woman, could be anybody. I don't know who asked the question. Right. But that's what he's probably talking about. And I'll say that if you preload your throw, then no matter what, the attributes are going to take care of the rest. So essentially the lower tier guys are going to miss that first branch point. If I have a 99 guy, I'm going to hit that first branch point every single time, get the most efficient throw possible. And that's how the tiered system works.
Right. And that goes into preloading your throws is so important, but then also the attributes will make a difference. Just like these reactions, just like, the outfielder jumps. The branch points too, like having those guys that can play defense is really going to matter this year, and you're going to feel it while you play.
100%.
Another question that we have coming in, and we kind of touched about this earlier, but just to kind of reiterate, our fans want to know what's the most important fielding rating when it comes to defense? What has the most impact as they're experiencing all these new meters and animations to get the best play possible?
What do you think, Connor?
What's
the most important, Connor?
Spotlight
on Connor. Let's go.
On the spot.
I don't think there is one, to be completely honest. I think that they all work together in such unique ways.
Exactly.
And it really depends on the hit and the situation. Like if it's a gapper to the outfield and there's a runner on first and he's rounding third to go home, then I'm probably looking at his arm accuracy and arm strength. Whereas other situations, I am really focused on his reaction. So it's important to be a well-balanced overall diamond defensive player. But it would be tough. Gil, what do you think?
Well, I would say a little bit different, and I agree with you that they're all important, but I would start with fielding, because if you don't catch the ball, you can't do anything else, right? So for me, fielding would be the number one thing. I need to catch the ball, right? Playing catch.
Just like that, as he just dropped the ball.
Dre's booting balls left and right out there. Let's go. Come on. So I would say fielding, but I like to build my teams basically the way you build a real team. So I want a strong arm in right field. I want a strong arm at short. Also good fielding. Accuracy is really important in our game, but here's the thing. If you're really good at the sticks, you could probably sacrifice the accuracy a little bit, right? So all of you out there that are really good, at the game and playing it for a long time, accuracy is the one thing that I'd probably maybe give a little bit, because it's really up to you. It's just going to make it harder for you, because we make the meter harder if your accuracy is low.
Right.
And what do you say? I see a lot of people are saying they prefer the best reaction time of attributes.
Well, they'll like it more now.
I'm spoiling your rhythm.
Yeah, it's okay. But I was going to say, obviously the newest addition this year would be, so that was a good point. Whoever brought that up, maybe that should be before fielding, because if I don't even get to the ball, I can't catch it.
Right.
Right. So, very important for both infielders and outfielders this year.
Yeah, I think just watching these clips, you're seeing how often reaction is impacting gameplay, and it's exciting. We're continuing to try to improve the meaning of defense and improve just how much it's impacting gameplay.
Yeah, defense mattered. I mean, we've been talking about this year after year. You guys probably get sick of us talking about it, but we keep finding new ways to do that. And the other thing I'll say is, like, some of these things, I don't know, to some, I read, like I said, I read all the negatives and all the positive comments. It's okay. Keep it coming. It doesn't bother us. On the negative side, I really appreciate the positives. How hard these guys work, and our animators and our programmers work, and how hard it is to get a lot of these features in. They may on the surface sound like simple things, but they're extremely difficult when you have a game that's been standing as long as ours has, and to shoehorn these things in is not just simple as just saying put it in and get it done in a week. These things take time, and we really pride ourselves in the balancing side of things as well. And so that's what's really important. So once we get something in, first of all, we got to find out if it's fun, and second of all, we got to make sure it works.
Yeah, and it feels good, and
it feels
it's not
good.
breaking anything else. Yeah, for sure. It's a good call out. I'm seeing a couple questions about the sweeper. I know everyone's excited to have that in the game. It won't be replacing the slurve. It won't be replacing the slider. It'll be a new pitch that you guys will see, which is exciting.
Yeah, just broadening the repertoire.
It's going to give me a lot of trouble at the plate.
It might. Yeah.
It's hard to pick up. I've been swinging and missing a whole bunch, but from ambush hitting, the new throw meters, reactions, home run rob, attributes, quality of life changes, any other last questions, answers that we want to throw in before we see you all next week?
I think I would just like to highlight, I see a lot of people commenting freeze-offs.
Yes.
And that's a big thing. We are, rest assured, we are always working to get rid of these. There's so many different things that can go wrong in an online environment, and we are constantly trying to address these. We're working all the time to provide the best online experience. We dislike them even more than you guys do, maybe. I know they're frustrating, especially when it happens, but we are constantly addressing these, working through them, creating new bugs. Our QA team's doing a great job, and we are just we're constantly trying to hammer these out. So bear with us, and we'll keep improving this year upon year.
Yeah, for sure. Stability is always something that's a top priority, so we're going to continue to work and make sure everything is as smooth as possible.
And lastly, we have some player lock quick time events, Gil.
Yeah, are we ending on the player lock stuff?
Let's
Is that
do
what
it.
we're
Why
doing?
not?
We're
I
gonna
think that
get
sounds
into
great.
that.
Some
Okay.
people saw the first person cam
Yes.
defense, which was freaking awesome. The player lock stuff has really come a long way this year. I think you guys are really going to like it.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult actually for us to show all this stuff right now. Dre's going to try, so you're going to see some scrambling over here on the